Alright Sam, we get it. Video games bad. If I play video games, I'm not worthy of love. If I play video games, you will kick down my door and put me in a deep sleep. But Sam, surely, after all those years of using your time so productively, look how productive this is. You look like you're having so much fun. God, I wish that was me. Surely, you learned something, Sam. Something which helped you on your journey to becoming a based Giga Chad. Anything tangible which transferred into the real world. Maybe it helped you make money. Maybe it helped you form relationships. Maybe it helped you find love. Tell us, Sam, please. I need to know that my 5,000 hours on World of Warcraft was not wasted. It wasn't for nothing. All right. Settle down, okay? I did learn a few things from my absolutely horrendous amount of time I wasted playing video games. I learned to stop playing them. Okay, but for real, I did learn some things. But I want to make something very clear. I will now go over some positives which I managed to find, scrounge from my experience of playing thousands upon thousands of hours of video games. And I had to really sit down and think hard about the positives that came from that experience. That doesn't mean that you can watch this video and feel like it's acceptable to continue playing them, because it's fucking not, bro. Just remember, at the same time I was experiencing these positives, I was neglecting myself, my body, my skill set was decaying in real time. My entire life was decaying in real time. And also, any of these skills can be developed much more efficiently and with real world tangible benefits if you just touch grass, bro. You can learn these things while building a better future for yourself. So cope harder, video gamers. Come, let's cope together. It's all going to be okay. You didn't waste 3,000 hours on League of Legends. You learned the power of friendship.
You're so fucking bad!
Alright, let's actually get into it. Number one, I learned value exchange. A little known fact about me, and something that I've surprisingly never talked about on this channel, is that during my first and only year in college before I dropped out, I actually spent a large portion of my free time trading skins inside of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And I was actually incredibly successful at it. I managed to trade up from an AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge field tested, which was worth $25, all the way up to the absolute pinnacle of weapon skins inside of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, an M9 Bayonet Ruby, factory new with a nice float value too, which at the time was worth over $3,000. This was over a 9-month period, which is honestly pretty impressive for CSGO. Constantly trading through items, which continue to rise in value until I managed to get the absolute best items in the game. During this time, I learned the very basic fundamentals of sales. And I mean basics. Most people I dealt with were fucking brain dead. And also, just to be clear, it wasn't worth my fucking time. I made $3,000 over a 9-month period. That's fucking terrible, bro. But honestly, it was fun. And I actually gathered a very good reputation amongst my peers as a really good trader. And eventually, I managed to sell that M9 bayonet for $3,000 in the real world. And that money allowed me to buy my mom a car. I come from a very poor family and we were constantly drowning in financial pressure. So the fact that I was able to give back to my mom with such a tangible and practical purchase of a car for her to use so she could get to and from work was really amazing and was truly a blessing. We couldn't afford a car before this. So I'm very grateful that I did what I did, because I learned a lot in the process and I was able to use that to ultimately give back to my family. And in terms of trading, I learned how to sell, and sometimes I learned the hard way on what not to do. I remember one day I lost my dream knife, the Karambit Tiger Tooth factory new, to gambling. I gambled it and lost on a roulette wheel. That broke my fucking heart, and it was like $800 or something at the time. And I also lost about $600 to scams. And as a prevalent trader with such a high reputation like myself, I was presented numerous opportunities to actually scam people for their money and their items. And every single time, I ultimately chose to never take advantage of people like that. And I still ended up eventually winning, while gaining goodwill, good reputation, and good friends along the way. That CSGO trading adventure taught me a lot. Number two, I learned a lot about human nature. The thing is about video games, boys, especially the competitive ones, is they bring out the absolute fucking worsen people. I'll give you an example of this now. I remember when I was in my Overwatch era, I went through gaming periods, so I would switch games depending on the period of time, right? So I was playing Overwatch, Season 2 competitive, before they ruined my favorite character, Reaper. And I was grinding hard for Master Rank, which is one of the highest ranks in the game. I was solo queuing competitive games at 3 a.m. Peak human existence. Beautiful. On the game which was my rank up game, I was put into a match with a guy who insta-locked Bastion. And by the way, if you insta-lock Bastion, you're fucking trolling. For the next 20 minutes of my life, I tried my absolute hardest to be endearing enough to make this Bastion like me enough to not troll my game. I put a big smile on my face. I overbeared him with positivity. Like, look man, the world's good, you know? Like, you don't have to troll my fucking rank up game. Just smile, man. Maybe play McCree instead, you know? Something fucking useful. And he did not give a single shit. My man trolled the absolute fuck out of that entire game. I can only assume because he was bored. And by the end of the game, I had absolutely lost my fucking mind, screaming down my microphone, saying the most heinous shit that came to mind. I literally had my microphone in my mouth, like, fuck you. My learning lesson from this: some people just want to watch the world burn. Human beings are absolute bastards at heart. We gain sadistic pleasure from pissing each other off as much as humanly possible. That's our baseline, and we all have it to some extent. But video games put this side of our nature on steroids. I think it's generally just because video gamers are just unhappy and bored individuals. And I'm certainly guilty of this too. I remember just queuing League of Legends game with the only intention being to just piss as many people off as humanly possible.
Hit the Nexus, not the Vlad! What the actual fuck?
We can become absolute bastards when we're bored, man. And this energy, it's infectious, so if you're spending time with a bunch of video gamers who are unhappy and they're bored, then you're gonna also be unhappy and bored, right? If you're surrounding yourself with friends who, as soon as someone leaves a call, will immediately start talking shit about the person who just left, then that's going to become ingrained in your personality. Even if you yourself have a good heart, you'll find yourself engaging in this toxic behavior. I learned a lot about human nature and the traits to avoid in friends and associates. I suppose I learned the power of teamwork too. Without it, you're pretty fucked. If you've got a guy playing Bastion, you fucked, right? But now we're reaching like extreme levels of cope, like dangerous cope. The copeometer is off the chart now, so we're gonna move on. Third, I learned the power of repetition. I generally got pretty good at every single game that I touched. Apart from Fortnite. Fuck Fortnite. Fortnite's fucked, and I'll tell you why Fortnite's fucked really quick. Just a quick transition away, right? Fortnite sucks dick. Anyway, I got pretty good at every game I played. And the reason I was able to get good at these games is simply just because of repetition. For example, on Call of Duty. If you're observant and intelligent enough, with enough repetition, you'll actually learn the spawn points of both enemies and objectives based on where your teammates are positioned on your minimap. I remember playing COD with my dad on his Xbox, and he would constantly be bamboozled by my ability to just know where the enemies are. And to top it all off, just to take the piss as much as humanly possible, I played with a knife-only build, which meant that I took a knife to a gunfight and fucking won. That's what repetition and dedication can get you. And in general, you can see life as a video game. It's the same shit, but just much slower progression systems. If I wanted to get godlike stamina in GTA 5, I would hop on a bicycle and spam X for an hour while I was riding around the city, and by the end of it, I would have the stamina of a god. In real life, this process would take months upon years. It's a really interesting perspective to look at life as a video game, because it honestly simplifies a lot of things. If you want to get good at something, repeat, 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 and eventually, you become a god. Do you remember that feeling of hitting a 6-man Zarya plus Reaper combo? Or hitting a game-ending trick shot off the crane on Modern Warfare 2? Or coming in and retaking bomb site 1v3 and defusing the bomb for your team. Your team in game chat screaming at how amazing you are. The feeling of pure excitement, importance, achievement. Now imagine that feeling in real life, where it's actually tangible. Imagine giving your mom a car, or buying your family dinner, or sharing a cigar with your brother. Seeing your life as a video game, and seeing the day-to-day tasks and habits as objectives is an incredibly powerful way of looking at life. And of course, it resonates with my autistic gamer brain. Maybe it does with you too. Those are a few takeaways I got from my video gaming days. I played thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of video games. And when I wasn't physically playing them, I was mentally thinking about them in my head. It's a fucking sad existence, man. And to think of the things that I could have achieved in all of those hours. But ultimately, I am grateful, because without those hard times, those late nights of screaming down the microphone at my teammates to unalive themselves, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Hashtag blessed. I hope this video is insightful. You don't have my permission to play video games, so I'm sorry. Time to put your mouse and keyboard down and step outside, and then come back inside. Because in reality, the best way for you to make money right now is through that gaming PC of yours. Just like how I did. I developed and monetized a skill from my gaming PC from my mom's house, and managed to earn over $12,000 a month doing so. And you can do the exact same thing too. And I can teach you how inside of my Academy of Excellence. Check it out. It's the first link in the description. Click the link right now. Have a wonderful day. Unless you insta-lock Bastion. Fuck you.